Before we get into this episode, I do want to clarify it's episode 15. I just realized it after we finished the episode, but we're on episode 15, y'all. Just to clarify, so my bad for that mistake, but hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. All right, y'all. Welcome back to On the Rise podcast, and we're on episode 14. We're finally back. I've been kind of sick these past couple of weeks, but this today has been my best day since I felt good. I got my voice back. I lost my voice actually, and
Yeah.
that's one of my goals this year, 2025, is
hmm
to be more caring and and listen to people,
Right.
not be as judgy too.
Yes.
um,
Number four here, I have share your personal faith journey when it's appropriate.
mm.
When it's appropriate.
So how do you
We
know
don't
when it's
want to do
appropriate?
that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want to do that at the very beginning and just kind of like shove Jesus down people's throat. You know?
That's
Number
good.
five here, create a welcoming environment where people can explore Christianity without feeling pressured.
Yeah, that's would be
Right?
actually welcoming.
A welcoming environment. And it starts off, John, it starts off with in the morning. When you're getting a coffee, you see somebody, a simple good morning.
Yeah.
That's being welcoming. But
Hmm.
if you walk into that coffee shop and you're just, with your long face, you're not even saying hi, acknowledging others. And then when you say, oh, I'm saved, I'm a son of God, they're going to be like, well, you.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to On the Rise podcast, and we're on episode 14. We're finally back. I've been kind of sick these past couple of weeks, but this today has been my best day since I felt good. I got my voice back. I lost my voice actually. I guess there's some sort of sickness going around, but it's okay. We're back. But for today's episode, we actually got a this guy has been on my previous episode, but I like him on the episodes. I think he's answered these questions pretty well, and he's a pastor himself. So, um, but before I introduce him, today's title is "How Should We Transform People into Christianity?" And I have some questions too for him, but the special guest is Pastor Tony from
I'm
Arkansas.
back.
You're
I'm
back.
back. I'm back.
Let's get it. This is why it's low key virtual, but hey, eventually, Pastor Tony, I want you
Yes.
in
Yes.
person. I want to meet you
Yeah.
in person. I know everything's been kind of virtual, but we'll make that happen pretty soon. You gotta come down to Abilene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. It's
And
always great to be back in Texas for sure.
hey, never go wrong with Texas. You feel me? And I
Yep.
can show you my campus too, ACU.
Yeah.
It's it's cool.
Yeah.
No hate. But yeah, I want to welcome you back on the Rise podcast. I appreciate you joining me again. I know you're busy, but good thing Mondays work out for both of us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, before we get into the today's topic, I wanted to just like for the new people, right? I wanted to just share a little bit about your background, your family, just like in a little, and like maybe like 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah. I'll be faster this time. I know
Yeah,
last
you'll
time I
be
wasn't.
faster. Go watch episode 13, y'all. If y'all wanna,
It was
if
a
you,
whole 10 minutes talking about who I was,
no,
my background. I'm
no,
joking.
that's facts.
Uh, yeah, no. Well, my name is Tony Valladares. I'm married, 30 years old, and I have a daughter. Born and raised in Rio Grande City, Texas, a very small town close to the border of Mexico. But recently, September of last year till now, we've been living in Arkansas, and we've been here for a couple of months and enjoying the time that we have been here. God really relocated us to do ministry out here, so this is where we're at right now. I love being a dad. I love singing. I love leading worship. That's what I do, and I love going to the gym. That's another thing, taking care of the temple, just the way
That's
it
one of the main
is.
things that we got in common is we go to the gym.
Yes.
I finally went back this morning and my body felt great after being sick. So
Sweat it out.
yeah, I gotta sweat out. I wish ACU had like a sauna, but
Yeah.
no, that's great. You have a crazy story too. I know you do. That's crazy. You're a dad.
Yeah. It's the best
uh,
thing though. It's
you
the
really
best
that?
thing.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready to be a dad. I gotta take care of myself first and figure it
Yeah.
out. I'm still young. You feel me? But I do have
Yeah.
a
I
girl.
was
I do have a girlfriend though, so
That's
it's the right
good.
step.
I was actually planning my wedding at your age, so
Wow, that's actually crazy. That's insane. Where was your wedding
yeah.
at?
It was back home in Rio Grande City.
Oh, really?
Uh, it
Wow.
was a. It wasn't intended to be a huge wedding, but it ended up being a massive wedding. I think like 800 people. Crazy,
Dang,
crazy.
800 people?
Yeah, like I was like,
Bro,
what?
that's
Where are all
ins-
these people?
that's wait, low key, what kind of food was there?
That was Mexican food,
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah,
of
you got.
course.
Hey, we're both Hispanic. For those of you who don't know, so
Yeah,
I know I don't show it, but I'm half
yeah,
Hispanic. So, no, yeah, that's cool. I just wanted you to like share a little bit about your background for the people who don't know who you are. Uh,
yeah,
so for episode 14, I think this is a pretty cool topic. It won't be as long, like we said, because we both got busy lives too. But um, and I'm generally curious myself. I don't have enough knowledge about this, but that's why I asked you.
yeah.
So today's title is how should we transform people into like Christianity, specifically Christianity?
Right.
And because I kind of want to learn myself because I'm like
Hmm.
I mean I've always been on mission trips, growing up. I've done all that, and I just told like maybe some random people here and there a little bit about God, but I never really like actually like transform someone.
Yeah.
And I have three questions for you, and you can obviously go deeper and whatever else you have to say. But my three questions are: what's a good way to transform someone into Christianity? Sorry for my cough, y'all.
You're good. You're
Uh,
good.
what are some verses that will help? And how do we handle people that reject us? So you can take it from there. You
Yeah.
can answer, number three first, number two, but I mean, I would prefer number one first. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so what do you think? As
So, um, I kind of changed the question a little bit only because
yeah,
it
you're
says
good.
how should we or how can we transform? Well, the transformation doesn't really come from us; it comes from God. So, but we can definitely help transform. We can definitely help with. Honestly, it's one thing. One word that I'm about to say is really like the whole base of how you could help transform somebody into Christianity or into a believer.
Yeah.
And who is that? Honestly, just live authentic. Be authentic. Be authentic with who you are. Live out Christian values for sure. Let your peers know right from wrong, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, but also like remain on that belief.
Mm,
Okay, because there's a lot of people you'll share with. Hey, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm saved. But then those same friends will be the ones that are gonna try you to see how well you are in that, or how firm you are in that rock that is the Lord.
yeah.
So make sure to always be authentic. Be authentic with your friends. Yes, I believe in this, and I try to do the best that I can, but I am also not perfect. Because when you portray to show perfection, and when you fail, because we're all destined to fail, people will always question your character. People will always doubt your character, will doubt that you even are a believer because of how you failed.
Yeah.
But why is that? Because you did not show them that, hey, you know what, I'm transparent. I am saved, but I'm also not perfect.
Yeah.
When you show people that you're not perfect, when you talk to people about the mistakes you've made, people they will be more drawn to you because they will understand that you're not perfect, and they will understand that you're just exactly like them. You're a sinner yourself. The only difference is that you follow Christ and you try to be the best that you can
I mean,
every single day.
I'm
you
glad
know
you.
so
I'm glad you
live.
point that out. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad you
you're good, you're
point that
good.
out. Like you have to like actually like apply yourself and follow like the Bible and the rules and everything as best as you can.
Right.
I know I everyone struggles with that,
Yeah.
but I think as a Christian it's like maybe like a little bit easier, because you're actually
Hmm.
trying to follow Jesus and stuff. But I'm trying to do that every day. Just really trying to follow him. But hey, I still mess up.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
okay to mess up.
It is okay. It's
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 okay.
totally fine. People, some judgy or judgmental people will not think
Yeah,
it's okay.
that's
But then
right.
you gotta kind of like just block out the noise for sure. And know who you are in Christ.
Ha-
And I think that's at the end of the day, it's a relationship that you need to be that you have personally with Him.
mhm.
And the relationship you have with Christ, there's no third people, there's no fourth people. It's just you and Him. So if you know who you are in Christ, nothing should move you. No words, no judgment, no anything that says nobody something that somebody says about you should not bother you because you know who you are. So definitely, like I said, be authentic, live out Christian values the best that you can. Build genuine relationships with others. I think that's something that will always like impact people.
Mm,
How well you are in the relationships that you make. You know what I mean? Whether it's with a partner, whether it's with your friends,
yeah.
uh, just be able to be build that relationship with them. Be a good listener. It's another thing that I have here. Number three, be a good listener. Some people just need us to just sit there and just be quiet and just listen. You know,
Yeah.
some people don't go to us because they think, oh, they're from the church, they're gonna judge me. So we need to turn that around. You know what I
Yeah. I
mean?
feel like,
We need to
yeah.
turn that perspective around. Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to listen to
I feel
you.
like a lot of people are just quick to judge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah,
no, we just need to listen to them. Give them good advice the best we can.
yeah.
You know?
And you know, and sometimes people are not going to reach out to you to get an advice from you. Also know that and be able to like be smart enough to kind of dictate that.
Yeah.
Is this person wanting an advice from me, or does this person just literally wants me to sit there and listen? Some people just want you to be there to listen, to be a shoulder to cry on. You
Yeah.
know, that's it. That's
Sometimes,
it.
sometimes I just want that too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like it when
To
just people just
vent. You
listen
know
to
what I
me.
mean?
You know, it's
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thankfully I have people in my life that I actually do care about me and listen to me too. And
Yeah.
that's one of my goals this year 2025 is to
Hmm.
be more caring and and listen to people,
Right.
not be as like as judgy too. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So
um,
number four here, I have share your personal faith journey when it's appropriate. When it's appropriate.
so how do you
You
know
don't
when it's
want to do that.
appropriate?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to do that at the very beginning and just kind of like shove Jesus down people's throat, you know, because that will make them feel like, okay, I don't want to really, this is not what I'm looking for. You
Yeah.
kind of have to ease your way through all this, you know. But when it's appropriate, share your personal faith. Share with them how you were saved, how your relationship is with Christ, the mistakes you've made, like I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, because maybe you don't have to tell them all the things you've done, but maybe some things, hey, I've messed up here and I've messed up there, will be something that they can feel um, that they share in common with you, and
Yeah.
that will help these people open up to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
number
good.
five here, create a welcoming environment where people can explore Christianity without feeling pressured.
Yeah, it has to be
Right.
actually welcoming.
A welcoming environment. And it starts off, John, it starts off with in the morning. When you're getting a coffee and you see somebody, a simple good morning,
Yeah.
that's being welcoming. But
Mm-hmm.
if you walk into that coffee shop and you're just, with your long face, you're not even saying hi, acknowledging others. And then when you say, oh, I'm saved, I'm a son of God, they're going to be like, well, you sure don't show it in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
you gotta you gotta live what you preach, man.
Mm-hmm.
You really do. Like us, we all gotta live what we preach. It's not how much Bible we know. It's not how many verses, how many stories in the Bible we know. It's how much Bible we live in our lives.
Mm.
And like I said, it starts with a simple good morning, how are you in the morning.
Dang,
That
I
can
didn't even think
literally
about it
make
like
or break
that.
somebody. Yeah. That
Yeah.
can literally make or break someone.
You're right. I
You
mean,
know?
just a simple like, oh, like how are you doing? And then
Yeah.
they like that. I try to do that
Yeah.
with like people at my school cafe. I try to talk to
Yeah.
them. Just be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, I may not know them at all, but like,
Yeah.
I just like to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like they appreciate that too. They're not just some like worker, at the cafe, like
Right.
I actually like to say like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day going?" And actually, I'm actually friends with some of them now, so
Yeah.
it's crazy. I enjoyed it a lot. No, yeah, those are good points that you said. That
Yeah.
I
And
really
and
like that.
And me, a strategy that I use, and I'm not saying this is the perfect strategy. This
Yeah.
is just a strategy that has worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I meet somebody, I don't right off the top tell them who I am and
Mm-hmm.
what I do. I meet the person, they know me for who I am, who Tony is. I mention in the future, like, oh yeah, I go to church, my dad's a pastor, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I let them and most of the time they're the ones that come and ask me, hey, what church do you go to, or when do you have your services, can I join?
Hmm.
It's always usually like that, because I don't want to be the one to be like right away, hey, I want you to go to church with me. I want them to see who I am, how I behave, how I act,
Yeah.
the type of friendship that I can offer before they start joining me in church, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel that that is a perfect way not to, not to show them Christianity, or have them explore Christianity in a way that they feel pressure to do it.
Yeah. No,
That
that's
is the
good.
perfect way.
I also
Yeah.
want to go back to like when you said about how is you can't tell the person right away about Christianity
Right.
stuff. I mean, I guess
Right.
unless they ask,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like you said, it's a process, right? But like,
Right.
how long do you think, or like, how long do you think it should be? You know what I mean? Like the process, like should be like a few, like let's say y'all hang out every day, like a few weeks, or like until like it just feels right, or like
Yeah.
what do you
It
think?
feels right.
Because
You know,
what if they never ask? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
they won't ask, but there'll always be a person that says, hey, you know what? Once they get that trust, built with you,
yeah,
they're gonna start opening up, and they're going
yeah,
to start telling you their problems, and they're going to start telling you their situations.
yeah,
And that's when you start sharing little by little, like what you've gone through, who has helped you get out of it, which is the Lord. And then that's when they start seeing things in a different way.
dang, that's
It's all
good.
tactics.
Yeah, I mean it is. You gotta have a
Yeah.
little game plan. You know,
You
you
have
have
to.
to.
Now
Yeah,
people will feel, as soon as you mention God, if they don't want to hear about it, their guard is going to go up real fast. You
yeah.
know,
It can scare some people too.
it can
Like,
scare some people.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially
And the
if they're
last
not
one,
Christian.
yeah,
It's a
exactly. The last point that I have here,
yeah.
it says something so simple. Focus on demonstrating love, compassion, and service.
Mm.
The same love that we have received from God, that love that we think ourselves we don't deserve, because we don't,
Mm.
because we're sinners, is the same love out of mercy and grace. That same love I have to share with others.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter their background, doesn't matter what they've done, what they have not done. It's not for me to judge. It's not for me to even acknowledge. It's for me to just leave it to God, and do what I'm supposed to do, which is build relationships, build friendships, and help these people, walk in the right path.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you have any other point? Dang, you had 6 points.
I had 6 points.
That's
I was
crazy.
ready for you.
You were ready. I didn't know you were gonna be like that. Wow, dang, that's crazy. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else you want to point out for question one, or you want to move on to
I
question two?
let's move on. I think that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a lot just from that. But
Yeah.
question number two: what are some verses that will help? With this, journey. But I have a couple verses: Matthew 28:19 through 20. Um, I can go ahead and read mine first, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up on my phone. It's easier for my phone, y'all. um, Matthew 28, 19 through 20. It says, therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you. And be sure of this, I am with you always, even to the end of the age.
Yeah, perfect.
Sh-
That is something that we need to do. That's God telling us a commandment that we basically have to do. You know what I mean? Like you got to
Yeah,
make disciples. You have
yeah.
to make these people followers of Jesus. One that I have here is John 3:16. You need to once you build that trust and you start talking about God to other people, especially that are not saved. You need to show them who God is. You need
Hmm.
to show them not only who God is, but how important these people are to God.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they come to you broken. They're going to come to you feeling at their lowest. So you need to tell them how important they are. You got to change it around.
Hmm.
You need to let them understand their value in God's eyes.
Hmm.
And John 3:16 is a perfect example of that. It
Would you
says,
mind reading it
of
for
course,
those people who don't know?
yeah, it says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. So then people will understand, oh my goodness, God gave his only son for me.
Yeah.
I didn't deserve it. I'm not perfect. but he still loves me that much that he gave his only son for me.
Mm.
So with that, people start feeling, hey, I matter. I matter to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm important enough for somebody to give his only son. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That
So
makes
so when
sense.
they start feeling that way, they start opening
Even
up to the
more
idea
because you're
of getting to
realizing.
know who God is.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think.
I like this guy because he sent his only son to die for me. I like him. Tell me more about him.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
feel,
I
I
mean?
feel like John 3:16 is a pretty good verse to like open up
Pretty
with
good.
too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
the most famous, probably one of the most famous verses in the Bible, if not the most
Exactly.
famous.
Exactly. And the
Uh,
second one that I have here is John 14:6. Kind of like the name John.
hey, that's my. It's the best name on the earth. It's my name. You feel me? That's
uh,
funny.
that's another way to show them once you tell them, how important they are to God, and they're open to the idea, then you show them John 14:6 that says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
Mm,
So basically, what happened? God gave his only son, he died, resurrected, but now we have to accept him in our hearts to be able to get to the Father. Because there's no other way we're going to get to the Father if it's not through Jesus Christ.
yeah, you actually have to like believe in
And you
him.
give them, yes, and you give them that backstory that
Yeah.
I just mentioned right now,
You also
so
have to
they
like
can understand.
confess, baptize, like
Yes,
everything. You
yes,
know.
and all that comes after. What do you got to do? Confess that He's your only
Hmm.
Savior, accept Him in your heart, and now you become a child of God.
Yeah, that's good. Personally, I want to get rebaptized eventually because I feel like I've been like this. I've been a pretty strong Christian lately. You know, just really trying to
Right.
fully focus on Him. And
Yeah.
I only got baptized when I was like super young, right? I don't even remember
Yeah.
how old I was, but I was pretty young. I feel like I should get rebaptized. You know, eventually. Just I think that'll be pretty cool.
Mm.
Um, but I like those verses that you pointed out. I also have. Do you mind reading Romans 10:14 through 15,
Yes. Let me get it real quick.
if you
Romans
can?
10.
Yeah. I feel like this also is a good verse to like tie in with what we're saying. 14 through 50, yeah. Sorry, y'all, we're trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it here on my Bible.
Romans is in a weird place in the Bible.
Yeah. Well, I have it here on my Romans 10,
Yes, Romans 10 and then verses 14 through 15.
verses 14
Through 15.
is here. But how can they call on him to save them unless they believe in him? And how can they believe in him they in him if they have never heard about him? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them?
Mm.
15 says, and how will anyone go and tell them without being sent? That is why the scripture says, how beautiful are the feet of messengers who bring good news.
So I feel like that's a pretty good verse because like since we are believers, right?
Right.
We need to go to the non-believers and
Hmm.
um, try to preach the good so they can hear,
Right.
the good news. I don't know what do you think that verse means?
It's actually motivating us to be those messengers.
Yeah.
If you're a follower of Jesus Christ, if you have accepted him in your life, you're a believer, you're saved. It is our job and duty to be those messengers to people who don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not through us, then how are they going to know about God? That's the question that it asks there. How
Yeah.
will they know about him if we don't, go out there ourselves and share who God is? That's why it says, blessed are the feet of the messengers, which is us.
Mm,
So we will be blessed in the midst of us sharing who Jesus is.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good verse to
Hmm.
point out. I mean, we're only here on this earth to, spread the gospel, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's one of my goals also this year is to
Yeah.
really like spread the gospel as much as possible. I mean, through this podcast is obviously one of them, and then like actually go in the streets and like do it.
Right.
I think that would be pretty cool. Just talk to people.
Yeah.
Um, so, did you have any other voices? Any other verses you want to point out?
That's those two are the only ones I
Yeah,
got for
hey,
the
we're all
question.
about the Book of John here. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's
Yeah.
what's up.
So the last question that I have, and oh shoot, Zoom is saying we got 9 minutes. Oh boy.
Oh, we're good. That's enough time.
Yeah, I think that'll be okay.
Yeah.
If not, I'll send you another link, but you know how it
Yeah.
goes. But so for question three, how do we handle people that reject us? Because that's pretty tough to get
Yeah,
rejected.
and this is an amazing and a great question because it's something that I struggled with growing up. I hated rejection. I hated it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's as you grow and mature, you understand that when you're trying to share with them who God is and they reject you, they're not necessarily rejecting you. They're rejecting the person you're trying to talk to them about,
Mm,
which is God,
dang.
right?
Yeah.
um and what I'm about to say could help in the ministry aspect of things or in the personal aspect of things, of life. How do we handle people that reject us? Well, first, acknowledge your emotions, and accept the rejection without taking it personally. Okay, don't take it personal. It's not towards you.
Yeah.
Okay. Focus on self-compassion. There has to be a reason why this person is rejecting the fact that you want to share who God is in your life. You know what I mean? There is a reason. There has to be a hurtful reason. They're going through hurt. They're probably going through a situation, a bad situation in their lives, and the least thing they want to hear is God.
Yeah.
Is about God. So try to have compassion towards those people.
I didn't even
Why
think
is it
about it
they're
like that.
rejecting God? Yeah. What is it that they're going through that makes them reject who God is? And
Mm,
how can I change that around
yeah.
so they can understand that it's not God against them? If anything, the situation that they're going through is to get them closer to God. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
That's big right there.
Try to understand the situation without blaming yourself.
Yeah.
You're not the one to blame here. You didn't cause that. Um, Use that experience, though, that rejection, use it as personal growth as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because from that we also grow, and we get better. Okay, maybe my approach was not the best way. How can I approach it in a better way? And how can I say it in a more fancy
You
or
just
more
force it.
attractive
I'm
way?
playing.
Yeah. How
Don't
can I
force it,
say it in a
y'all.
more attractive way so
Yeah.
people won't reject,
Yeah.
me?
You
You
gotta
know what I
do it
mean?
in a good way. You can't
Yeah.
force things. I know we're just joking, but
Yeah. Yeah.
don't force anything. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
force
You gotta
anything.
like it takes time for that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I didn't even think about it like that.
Right. Right.
They may not be necessarily rejecting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I always thought of it like that's like, oh dang, like they're rejecting me. They don't care. Like I'm trying to like do this, but you gotta show more like you said, you gotta show more compassion. Like, actually think outside
Right.
the box.
Exactly. And most importantly, maintain a respectful and neutral interaction with that person who
Yeah.
rejected you.
Mm,
Don't get offended. Don't start kind of going at them because they rejected you. Just be neutral, be respectful, and I
yeah.
think that will speak volumes. That will speak volumes of your character, and that might even be the reason why these people ease their way into knowing who God is through you because of how you reacted to them rejecting you.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. It's about like how you react to people as well.
Yeah.
Dang, no, I think this was a pretty good episode.
It is. It
Yeah,
was.
I think you really we both nailed the key points. But some of my personal notes here, we got about like 6-ish minutes. So if you run out of time, I can just send you another link. But so a couple of my notes is Christians are called to share the gospel, not just certain people, but everyone. Um, sorry, y'all, my cough. I feel like everyone's a key word, like literally everyone. You know what I mean? Around the world, like people who's never even heard of Jesus Christ, right? You got to share it with them.
Right.
The message of the gospel is considered powerful and has the ability to bring salvation. We should put in our prayer list people who don't know Christ, and for us to pray for the people that we want to see in heaven. I didn't even think about it like that too. I thought that was pretty cool to read. Like,
Right.
pray for the people that you want to see in heaven too.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's pretty cool. I want to put that in my. I have like a little prayer journal too that I'm
Yeah.
starting to do,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'm gonna put some of the people that I know I
Mm-hmm.
want to see in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as Christians, I think these are some pretty good tips, right? Is to like once you are a Christian, we should read the Bible, pray, find a good church, to get involved in, or and
Right.
also life groups. Me and
Yeah.
you, I mean, we have life group every Saturday
Yeah.
on
And that's
FaceTime.
exactly what I mentioned on Saturday. Prayer is where we get stronger in the Lord.
Yeah.
Us as Christians, we get stronger in prayer, and we get more knowledgeable how reading the Word. So it's
Hmm.
very important to do both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like you said, also find a local church. It's super important to have communion with people who believe in the same thing that you do. It is
Yeah.
very important to have friendships with people who believe in the same thing that you do, so they could help you when you're going through a difficult situation. You
Yeah.
want to know who you're running to whenever you're having troubles. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. I feel like having other Christian friends is very important,
Very
and you want some of those Christian friends too to be like even deeper in their faith. That's
right.
the overall goal, right?
Yeah.
Um, and they'll actually give you like pretty good advice. I mean, for the most part, pretty good advice if they're a
Right.
Christian. So,
Right.
and then the last 2 points I have, giving to that church. We obviously have to tithe to once you're a Christian,
And
like ten
you're right.
percent
Yeah.
of the your whatever you make, right?
Yeah. Very
I'm still in
important.
college, y'all, so
Yeah.
I don't have a real job yet, but I'm sure you tithe, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Right.
10%. That's what it says. And
Hmm.
I know my dad's always told me like, John, once you work, you got to pay 10%, to the church.
Yeah.
So, and then that's what I'm planning on doing once I get an actual job after
Right.
college. And then, like what we've been talking about, witnessing to people. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, those are kind of my points and notes that I have to say. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to say for episode 14 or?
I think this was a great topic.
Yeah.
Um, I know a lot of people have questions over how to help guide people in the path of God. Not
Hmm.
that we know it all. We don't ever pretend like we do. We learn as we go. But that is the beauty of life, that we get to learn from each other, and that is that's why it's very important to have friends who are Christians as well, because you learn from each other. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
learning great things. I know
that's
from the
true.
Bible study that we've been doing, I've been learning myself a lot. From you all.
Say,
So
and I told you this too. Like, I've been involved in other life groups, but I think this low key is probably one of my best life groups I've been involved in
yeah,
because like I never actually read so many books in the Bible before. You know what
right,
I mean? Like I'm
same.
like actually like finishing a book, so I'm like, oh damn, I don't want to be that one guy in the group. Like, I don't want to be that
Yeah,
one guy either that like doesn't read it. I want to still like.
right,
I like that y'all like keep me accountable too for like read
exactly.
like make sure you finish your chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But yeah, I think
for
in a
real.
life group is really good. You know what
Very
I'm
important.
saying?
Very important.
Very
So
important.
overall, this is amazing. This is an amazing
Yeah.
episode.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Back to back, 13 and 14.
Man, 13 and
We're
4. Hey, you might be on 15 too. You feel me?
it might be on 15.
No, I mean, bro, I really like it that you're on this episode. You have a lot of knowledge of like about God and the Bible. And I'm still learning. I'm young. I'm 23 in college. I'm still
Right.
struggling, still learning. About God. I have plenty of questions for God. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, no, I appreciate you joining back on the Rise podcast. Episode
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're invited to many many more episodes.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I think we have a lot of more topics to talk about. This is one of
Yeah.
many. Um, but yeah, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you just coming on here. So
Uh, Thank you for
uh,
having me again, and whatever questions you guys have, we're more than glad
yeah, yeah.
answer them to the
Y'all can
best of
also
our
ask Pastor
ability.
Tony too. I'll leave his Instagram too in the if you want
Yeah,
that
for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah, for sure. They can
But
follow
yeah,
me and ask me anything. We're here to help and just build a community of people who believe in God,
yeah.
and know that there's somebody up there, waiting for us to be rejoicing in heaven one
Oh
day.
man, I want to see everybody in heaven. That's the goal. You
For
know what I'm
real. Yeah,
saying?
same.
Nobody go to hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Pastor Tony, for joining, and thank y'all for listening and watching to On the Rise podcast. And this is episode 14.
Thank
So
you. Have
we're
a good
out,
one.
y'all.